A staggering 21.2% of all US adults, or 53.2 million people, have arthritis. It's a leading cause of work disability according to the CDC. One of the most important lifestyle factors to consider if you have arthritis is your diet, because the foods you eat can either improve your arthritis or make it worse. So in this video, I'm going to show you the top 10 foods and drinks to avoid if you have arthritis. And make sure to stick around until the end because I'm also going to give you the best foods to eat to improve your arthritis and joint pain. And pay close attention to superfood number 1, it might shock you. But let's start with the number 1 food you need to avoid if you have arthritis. It's none other than processed sugar. Eating foods high in processed sugar is basically like rocket fuel for your arthritis because of its inflammatory effects to the body. The problem is, processed sugar is in 99% of all ultra-processed food. And that's going to be a common theme for this video. Processed sugar is found in bread, crackers, breakfast cereal, cookies, pastries, candy, ice cream, and other seemingly innocent condiments like barbecue sauce and ketchup. They're all loaded with processed sugar. You can also find processed sugar in common healthy salad dressings. That's why it's important to read food labels. In this study, participants noted that among 20 foods, sugar-sweetened soda and desserts seemed most likely to worsen their rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. It's because foods that contain processed sugar trigger the release of inflammatory cytokines in the body. You also want to watch out for hidden sugars. You want to look for names like rice syrup and corn syrup and be aware of ingredients that end in ose, like fructose, dextrose, sucrose, or maltose in ingredients lists. Number 2, cheap cooking oils. There's a reason why these cheap cooking oils are dirt cheap, because you end up paying with your health. Not a good deal. These cheap oils are very unstable. They're full of additives and oxidize very easily because they're extremely processed at high temperatures. They then cause absolute metabolic chaos to your body when you use them for cooking or when you regularly eat foods that contain them, like potato chips and French fries. These cheap inflammatory oils have been shown to contribute to detrimental health problems like chronic inflammation, asthma, arthritis, mental health problems, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and even cancer. For context, 20% of the calories in the standard American diet come from these highly inflammatory oils. That's 20% too much. And these problematic oils are also found in almost all ultra-processed food, which is why you want to severely limit your intake of these ultra-processed frankenfoods in general. The problem is, that is what the average person eats on a regular basis. In fact, 60% of calories from the standard American diet come from these ultra-processed foods. Are you starting to see the problem here? That ratio should be shifted to 10 to 20% max if you want to be a healthy human being. Ultra-processed foods are generally high in gluten-containing refined grains, processed sugar like high fructose corn syrup, inflammatory oils I just mentioned, as well as harmful preservatives, artificial food color, and other potentially inflammatory ingredients like trans fats from partially hydrogenated oils, all of which may worsen arthritis symptoms. In fact, this study shows that ultra-processed foods may increase your risk of rheumatoid arthritis by contributing to inflammation and obesity. In a study of 56 people with rheumatoid arthritis, those who ate higher amounts of ultra-processed food showed increased heart disease risk factors, including higher levels of blood sugar. The next category of ultra-processed foods that are especially bad if you have arthritis are deep-fried foods. Deep-fried foods are often cooked in rancid and oxidized cheap oils that are high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, which again triggers inflammation and an increase in arthritis symptoms. The problem is, most restaurants use the same rancid oil for their deep-fried food and are often not changed for days, which can amplify their harmful effects even more. Adding to the insult, fried foods often have other ingredients like gluten-containing breading, refined salt, and added sugar that can also lead to inflammation. To make things worse, deep frying foods also create advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. When AGEs accumulate in high amounts in your body, oxidative stress and inflammation may occur. Oxidative stress and AGE formation are linked to disease progression in people with arthritis. Also, People with rheumatoid arthritis may have higher levels of AGEs in their bodies than those without. AGE accumulation in bones and joints may also play a role in the development and progression of osteoarthritis. This is why you should never eat deep-fried fast food products. When eating out, ask the chef to cook your food in extra virgin olive oil or real butter. The next food you need to avoid are ultra-processed meat. I'm talking about hot dogs, chicken nuggets, breakfast sausage, canned meat like corned beef and luncheon meat, as well as plant-based fake meat. According to this study, people who eat a lot of processed meat may have higher levels of interleukin-6, C-reactive protein, and homocysteine, which are all markers of inflammation which could make your arthritis symptoms worse. In fact, this study found a link between a higher risk of rheumatoid arthritis and consumption of processed meats compared with fish and seafood. The next food you need to avoid are ultra-processed foods high in refined salt. Sodium, found in salt, is an essential nutrient the human body needs to function optimally. You would die without it. The problem is, most of the salt people consume are coming from refined salt from ultra-processed foods. Think about chips, crackers, and French fries. Other foods high in refined salt include canned soup, pizza, processed meats, and fast food. Again, ultra-processed foods. This study shows an association with high refined salt intake with greater inflammation and an increased risk for developing rheumatoid arthritis. On the other hand, adding high-quality salt on minimally processed food has a completely different effect in your body. Next up are gluten-containing foods. Common foods that contain gluten are wheat-based products like breakfast cereal, pasta, noodles, bread and pastries, sauces and gravies, as well as beer. They don't call it a beer belly for nothing. Research shows that gluten causes intestinal permeability, otherwise known as leaky gut, in all people. Leaky gut then leads to chronic inflammation, a key factor in many illnesses, mental health issues, and neurodegenerative diseases like dementia. According to this study, leaky gut may be associated with autoimmune diseases like lupus, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, as well as chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, arthritis, allergies, asthma, acne, obesity, and even mental illness. Now, let's talk about some drinks to avoid if you have arthritis, starting with sugar-sweetened drinks. Same as foods with processed sugar, sugary drinks like soda, energy drinks, and designer coffee may significantly increase your risk of arthritis because of refined sugar's inflammatory effect in the body. In a study of over 1,200 adults aged 20 to 30, those who drank fructose-sweetened beverages 5 times per week or more were 3 times more likely to have arthritis than those who consumed few to no fructose-sweetened drinks. And according to this study, drinks containing high fructose corn syrup may also lead to an increase in uric acid levels, which can worsen gout. Next up is conventional dairy. Conventional dairy products like pasteurized milk, yogurt drinks, ice cream, and other dairy products can trigger an inflammatory reaction. Unless you can find high-quality dairy like cheese or low-temperature pasteurized milk if you can tolerate it, it's best to avoid conventional dairy if you have arthritis. And no, milk substitutes like almond milk or oat milk aren't any better if you have arthritis. They're extremely processed and often contain added sugar, harmful oils, preservatives, and emulsifiers which can cause inflammation, making your arthritis symptoms worse. Next up is alcohol. According to this study, drinking alcohol once a week or more may increase the risk of osteoarthritis. A 2019 study showed alcohol intake may increase spinal structural damage in people with axial spondyloarthritis. This study found a link between developing alcohol consumption and rheumatoid arthritis in females. In short, alcohol is literally poison to the human body. Now, what should you eat if you have arthritis? You want to stick to single ingredient, minimally processed, nutrient-dense foods. Real food tend not to trigger an inflammatory response from the body. At least once a week, eat cold water fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, and sardines, as well as bivalves like oysters and mussels because they contain anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. You can also eat citrus fruit and berries because they're high in antioxidants, which can lower inflammation. You can also eat vegetables your body tolerates. Just make sure to cook all your vegetables to get rid of some of the anti-nutrients. You can also drizzle some first cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil on your favorite dishes to take advantage of its anti-inflammatory properties. When it comes to cooking oil, again, avoid cheap inflammatory oils. Use healthier alternatives like extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil, or butter. As always, real food and a healthy lifestyle is the answer. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then you don't want to ignore this one. I'll see you there.